Hello. Welcome to Geology 100 with me, Emily McHugh. Um, I'm really excited about this course. I'm going to jump right in because I have a lot to say. Wait from start. Um, okay, welcome. This is Geology 100. It's an introduction into Earth's systems. And I'm really excited about it for a lot of reasons, which we'll get into. I go by McHugh, but you're also welcome to call me Emily. When I got into grad school, there were 5 Emilys, and I was over it. So I just told everyone, just call me McHugh, but you can call me Emily. I will not be offended. So we're going to talk about this course. We're going to talk about our objectives for this course, the materials you will need for this course, academic integrity, our expectations, and how to communicate, because honestly, that's going to be probably the biggest component of this class. A little about me. So I have 3.5 degrees. My first degree was in theatrical costume design from UVI, and I ended up working in hair and wigs professionally with the Oregon Shakespeare Festival for a minute, for about half a decade. And I'm a licensed cosmetologist because of it in 3 states, anyways. And I decided at one point, I was like, I'm going to go back and study geology for reasons. So I did. Went and got my BS in geology from OSU in 2021. So I finished right at the tail end of COVID, which was really fun. And then I jumped straight into my master's in organic geochemical oceanography and finished that at Western in 2021. Nope, let's try that again. Oh God, when did I graduate? Last year, so 2024. Um, so I have been doing geology for about 6 years, and I love it. It brings me joy. Again, I go by McHugh or Emily McCory is my full name. You can call me Emily, you can call me McHugh, Ms. McHugh, although that freaks me out, you guys. I gotta be honest. Ugh, all my students call me Ms. McHugh, and I just feel so old. My office hours for this term are going to be by appointment only. Because it's summer, I'm actually working a few other jobs besides this class. And I won't be like so overwhelmed and so busy that I can't focus on this class. This is actually my priority. But my other work has me out in the field at really weird hours. So I just don't have a weekly time that I can do Zoom office hours. But I really want you to reach out if you have any questions, and I am happy to set up an appointment that works with both of us. It just is going to change week by week, so that's why I couldn't be like, it's going to be Mondays from 8 to 10. I just don't have that consistency over the summer. But please email me. I'm more than happy to meet via Zoom and chat about whatever issues you have or any questions you have. I do not mind that at all. And if weekends are what work for you, I have most weekends at least somewhat available. So I can also chat weekends. It's only 7 weeks and I'm not doing anything better with my life. So please shoot me an email. Here is my email. It is scattered everywhere. It's on Canvas, it's on the syllabus. So shoot me an email if you have any questions or concerns. Happy to chat. It's always hard doing an online asynchronous. Oh, that's the most important slide. Hold on. It's really hard doing an online asynchronous course because I don't ever get to see you guys. And so I love meeting on Zoom. These are my babies. You will probably see them throughout the entirety of this class as I film videos. This is Harry on the left. He is 17 pounds. He's a little shit. He woke me up 3 times this morning because he discovered that he can use my bed as a scratching post, and he loves to do it as I'm actively sleeping. So that's been fun. I do love him. I mean, look at that fluffy little monster. Henry's on the right. She is perfect. She can do no wrong. She's 10 pounds. And look at that face. She's perfect. I love her. And yes, I do have a favorite child, obviously, but they're both delightful. So our objectives for this course are to understand how we use scientific theory to answer major questions regarding Earth's major systems, to understand the 5 major Earth systems, how they differ, how they're similar, and mostly how they interact with each other. And I'm actually adding a 6th system into this series, which I'll get to, and I'm really excited about that one. But there are 5 major natural Earth systems. We're going to have a better idea at the smaller impacts and the larger impacts, chemically, physically, and biologically. And I would love for you to leave this class with a more empathetic outlook on our Earth and how to take care of this Earth. That's really important to me. Earth science is the study of Earth systems in general and how they interact with each other as a whole. We're going to be looking at small snippets of huge topics covering a wide range of topics. I want to make something really, really clear. I have taught many, many introductory classes, chemistry, environmental science, geology, of course. And I did do biology one time. It was rough. I will hopefully never have to do that one again, but it was an introductory biology class. And one thing that is consistent with any introductory class is you cover this wide range of topics, but you cover very small snippets. So each one of the modules that we'll go through in this class, I have actually taken as full classes. Um, so geosphere, I took a geology class that covers larger range of those topics. I took an oceanography class. I've taken atmospheric sciences class. So all of these modules I've taken entire courses for. So I have whittled out the important parts of what I think came from those classes and turned them into modules. So I hope that you get at least a broad overview of these huge topics. But that being said, from a student perspective, I know that that can feel really overwhelming and that can feel really daunting. And maybe not super satisfactory to be like, well, I want to learn more about this topic, but we only dipped our toes in. I mean, that's sort of the concept of an introductory class is to be like, we're just dipping our toes. But just know it can feel really overwhelming at times. So if you feel overwhelmed or you're struggling with something, shoot me an email and let's chat about it. Because this class is entirely online and asynchronous. If you have never taken an asynchronous class before, that can also feel really overwhelming because it means you set your own schedule. I do not fail my students in this class if you're doing the work and you're submitting material and you are actively trying. I have never failed a student because of wrong answers, if that makes sense. I fail students because they can't manage their time appropriately and they don't submit their work on time. That is the only time that I've ever had to fail a student. And I don't like doing it. It's not my goal. But if you are putting things off until the last minute and you're realizing, oh, shoot, I didn't get my thing started until 11 o'clock on Tuesday night when it's due at midnight, and you can't finish it, then I can't help you. So time management is key. My tips are set a schedule, stick to it, and don't try to do everything all at once. I promise you, you will regret doing that. And I have a schedule for this class that we're going to talk about in a future slide. But time management is the most important key. And I do have a YouTube video where I give some tips and tricks that helped me as a student. And I'm still learning time management too. I have been a student for 11 years of a college student for 11 years of my life. And it took me a long time to figure out time management, but it is such an important soft skill to have in just your everyday life. And finally, communicate with me. The only communication that I have with you as my student is through videos, announcements, and emails. That's it. So if you decide you do not want to email me at all this term, we might never have an actual interaction. If you are not turning on your announcement notifications and you miss an important announcement from me, there's very little that I can do to emphasize that announcement because it is your responsibility to make sure you are seeing my announcements and that you are seeing my emails as they come through. And I do put important information in my lecture videos. So if you decide not to watch my lecture videos, you might miss out on something really important. But by far, announcements are going to be the most important thing. I send out announcements like it's nobody's business. It might drive you crazy this summer, but again, it's my only way to communicate with you. So please, please, please make sure you have your announcement notifications on, and I'll talk about how to do that here in a second. I'm pretty good at getting back emails really quickly. That being said, I might struggle a little bit in the summer. If you send me an email and so my other job takes me out to Anacortes, and there are some days that I just don't have any cell service, unfortunately. So if you send me an email and it's an emergency, I might not get it for a few hours. And I do apologize, and I will be very apologetic when I email you back. Hopefully we don't get to a point where you have an emergency with the coursework, but and that will be from like 8 in the morning until 3 p.m. in the afternoon is usually when I'm back in service. So keep that in mind. I will do my best to get back to your emails super, super fast. But just note if I don't, it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's just because I'm out of self-service. This is the thumbnail for my tips and tricks for time management YouTube video that I recommend you watch. I don't remember how long it is. I think it's like 12 minutes. Um, but I do have some really good tips on there that have helped me. And it's a subjective topic, right? You might have some tricks that help you better, or you might see some of mine that are like, well, that'll work for me, but that won't. So just something for you, another tool for your toolbox, essentially. Emailing me. Again, please email me. You're welcome to abuse my inbox with all of the questions. Honestly, I'm not going to get a whole lot of emails this summer, which is going to be really nice. So if you're the ones that are inundating me with emails, I'm not going to be mad about it. But please tell me, I guess you don't have to type the class you're taking because I'm only teaching one class. But tell me what the topic is in your subject line, please. And then give me your full name, and you can say what class you're taking with me again, but tell me who you are. Again, I will be accessible, especially during the evenings, and I will return emails ASAP. And that's my email again. Okay, so the materials that you will need for this course. Oh, okay. It's just all gonna vomit itself out. Cool. I will give you important PDFs, or I guess I'm not technically supposed to give you PDFs anymore. I'm supposed to find Word docs, or accessible material that is free for each module. So I don't have a textbook for you to purchase. I think textbooks are excessive and stupid, and I hate them. And the fact that I love all of my colleagues, they're fantastic, but I have some colleagues who are like, I'm going to make my students buy 4 $200 textbooks each for this class. And I just think that's silly. And I don't have that kind of money. I don't imagine you have that kind of money. So I don't have a textbook for you to buy. I did find an online textbook. I'm actually really mad about this. I found the perfect online textbook, and it was beautiful and it was perfect and it was accessible. And then the link failed, and they're quote unquote fixing it right now. So I actually have to go through and find another textbook. And there's some out there. They're just not as, this one was really interactive, and you could like click on terms and it would pop up with this definition. And that was really cool. So I have an online textbook for you. I will post it to Canvas. You will need access, oopsies, you will need access to Google Earth Pro. This is so important. I think for at least 4 of your modules utilize Google Earth Pro. And the reason we're using Google Earth Pro is because you can input files to Google Earth Pro that show you really cool data. And because this is an online class, in my Geology 101 class that's in person, all of my labs are super interactive and super hands-on, but there's just no way to do that in an online class. So one of the best tools that I have found is Google Earth Pro, and I love Google Earth Pro. It is an app, so it is not a website that you go to. I have a whole video about this for Module 1. So make sure you watch the Module 1 video on how to download it and then what we'll be utilizing within Google Earth Pro. But it's an app, so you'll need to download it. And if you have borrowed a laptop from the school, you have to make sure that they upload Google Earth Pro for you, because you need like admin access. It's actually super stupid that they do that. It's Google Earth Pro. It's not like you're downloading something weird. So Google Earth Pro, you need access to this ASAP. We use it in the first module, and I'm lenient in the first module for this reason. But second module, we start diving into some hard Google Earth Pro files, which are really cool. But you need to use it. You need to know how to use it. And you need to make sure it's on your computer. Access to Canvas, obviously. Hopefully this is a given. Please turn on your notifications. Please turn on your announcement notifications and check your grades frequently. Make sure you're looking to see that you have submitted something in its entirety, because if you all of a sudden see you got 50% on an assignment, you're going to be like, oh shit, I didn't realize that I only wrote my answers to half of these assignments. Also access to YouTube. I put all my lectures on YouTube for accessibility. And I also have 2 documents that you'll be documentaries that you'll be watching that's free through YouTube. And I think one other informational YouTube video. So YouTube's going to be really important too. Essentially, you need access to the internet for this course. Our modules that we're going to cover. So I have taught this class now. This is my 3rd time teaching this class. And I love teaching this class, but the first two times I taught it at Whatcom, and I was sort of thrown into it under emergency circumstances. I got a email from the head of the geology department up at Whatcom, and she said, hey, we're desperate. We need someone to jump into this class a week after classes had started. And I was like, sure. And so I jumped into this class, and it is nothing like how I have built it now. In fact, the teacher that taught it up at Whatcom teaches it very differently than I do, which is fine. So this is my first revamp. I kind of revamped it last term too, but this is my first full revamp of this class, and I'm really excited about it because some of it was really successful for spring term. So there's 8 total modules. I actually got rid of one of them for the summer course, so you're welcome, I guess. A little less work, although the last module was really fun. It was our local system, so we learned about the local geology and stuff. But our first module is geography. It's going to be the most important part because everything is built on how to read maps and how to look at maps. We're going to jump into geosphere, which is the sphere of Earth system that is Earth and rock and geology. Our hydrosphere, which is the sphere of Earth that is water. And there are 2 parts of the hydrosphere, the terrestrial hydrosphere, which is the water components of land, that is groundwater and rivers, and then marine hydrosphere, which is the oceans. The atmosphere, hopefully that is self-explanatory. The biosphere, and I have taken the biosphere and sort of geologically altered this a little bit. So it's not about plants per se, but the biosphere, earlier I said that I had taken a class in every single one of these modules, and the biosphere is what we call historical geology and how we study biology as part of geologic systems, that is fossils, and how fossils sort of play a role in geology and in Earth systems. The cryosphere. So the cryosphere is the frozen component of Earth systems, glaciers, ice sheets. So those are the 5 major spheres: geosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, biosphere, cryosphere. But the 6th one that I added in here it's a real thing, and it's called the anthroposphere. And it is, scientists have denoted this term as a sphere of the Earth that is new, where humans are modifying the Earth so much that we have become our own entity in and of itself. So it's how humans are impacting the Earth. And then our final module is climate change. How have humans impacted climate, and how all of these spheres are kind of scientifically coming together and impacting the climate. So those are our 8 modules. I love them. You have some really fun activities in all 8 of these that we're going to talk about. And then finally, you are going to have a project, a term project. I call it term project. I've called it case study in the past. It's all the same thing. Because this is an online asynchronous class, you don't really get the opportunity to interact with your peers or with me, and I don't like that. So I have created a discussion post in which you are going to study a geologic disaster, because it's going to start after geology, research it a little bit, and then discuss it with your peers. And we'll talk more about that in just a second. Your due dates. Okay, first and foremost, let's talk about how I've decided to revamp this a little bit. Normally, in my online asynchronous classes throughout the school year, I open modules and they're open for 2 weeks. And you have 2 weeks to complete each module. But I was talking with one of your peers, actually, who's taking this class. And during the summer, I know you all have a lot going on. And I know that some of you are taking online classes because you're not around or you're going on vacation. So I've made the decision to open all the modules all at the same time. So I've been spending the last, oh, you coming up? Come on. I've been spending the last, 5 days making sure that everything's ready to go. I'm going to open all of the modules so you can jump ahead and do all of the modules in the first 2 weeks if that's really, really what you want. I do not mind. But they're still going to have due dates for my sanity so that I can grade as we go. I do not want to have them all due at the same time because, oh, this is Henry, by the way. She says hi. Say hi. Yeah. I do not want to have to grade everything all at the end of the term. That is not logical. So you have due dates. This is all on your syllabus. This is all on the front page of Canvas. And I'm putting the due dates on these assignments so they'll pop up on the right side of your Canvas page and say, oh, by the way, this is due on Tuesdays. Your due dates are all on Tuesdays. And I did this because one of my jobs, I don't work on Wednesdays. And I thought, oh, well, then that's the day I'm going to grade. And I thought, I'm not going to make you sit around and when there's an extra day, you could be working on these modules. So everything is going to open on the first day of class. And all of your due dates are going to be on Tuesdays, including midterms, including the final, including your term project. Okay. So keep these dates in mind. You will have a due date every single week for different modules, and there's 2 for some of these days. So keep that in mind. That's it. That's all I have to say, I think. Tuesday, so that'll be consistent. So you'll know, oh, it's Tuesday. I probably have something due tonight. Okay. That is what I have to say about that. Hopefully that works. Oopsies. Monday of the week. Oh, it's because I'm opening that all at once. My grading rubric. It says subject to change, but I'm probably not going to change this. This has worked in the past, and I have a lot of opinions about grading rubrics. Your homework's going to be 25% of your grade. Your labs are 25% of your grade. Your quizzes, your term project are both 15. And then your midterm and your final are only worth 10% each. And I do that because I think you get a lot more from your homework and your labs than you do from midterms and finals. I don't believe in cramming. I think that's stupid. Oh, I guess I should point out the only things that I don't open right away, that I'm not going to open right away, are your midterm and your final. These will have specific starting dates. And for your discussion part 2 and 3, that might also be difficult to do because you can do this term project part 1 whenever you want, but then you're going to wait for a response from your peers. So you do have to wait for responses. So those might be a little bit more tightly scheduled. But if you have a conflict, chat with me. We'll talk about that here in a second too. So term project, midterm, and final are the only things that won't open right away. But I will send out announcements before I open those. And you'll have plenty of time. The midterm and the final, you'll have 5 days to take both of those. Academic integrity. Do your own work. Please don't cheat. Please don't copy. Pretty self-explanatory. I am required to report you to the school, and it's really not fun. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of energy on my end, so just don't cheat. Forms of cheating. What does that look like? I'm so glad you asked. Copying and pasting from websites. You guys, I cannot tell you how many times I have caught a student copy and paste material from a website. It is so obvious. It is so blatant. And I will call you out. And if it is stupidly obvious and you're throwing in words that we've never talked about and I don't even know, I'm going to call you out and be like, I can't accept this material. All of the answers that you were going to give for your homeworks, for your labs, for your exams, unless otherwise stated, I need 1 to 2 sentences. And I mean, it's that simple. It's not, I don't need paragraphs and paragraphs of extrapolation or an explanation. I don't need that. 1 or 2 sentences, unless I state, write a full paragraph, but it's not going to be that deep. ChatGPT and other AI. We're going to talk about this in a second. This is a new thing for so many people. When I started in school, we had Google. I don't really think it's that different, but it is in a lot of ways too. Let's talk AI because your first assignment, your first homework assignment, we're going to utilize ChatGPT. I don't hate ChatGPT. I actually think it's a really great tool, but it's also important to note that ChatGPT is what you call generative AI, right? You ask it a question and it searches the entire interwebs to find an answer. And it picks out the highest or the best chosen response. That does not always mean that it is the correct response. And so in your first assignment, you get to work with ChatGPT and see, this is not the most accurate place for me to find my data. That being said, it's a good tool to help you find data. I kind of correlate it to Wikipedia, where Wikipedia is not the best tool you want to use when writing a paper, right? But it's a good place to start. And Wikipedia has materials down at the bottom that do have primary sources. Same with ChatGPT. You could ChatGPT up what are some good references to use for this topic, and it'll spit some out to help you find that. Do not copy and paste from ChatGPT. Y'all, it's so fucking obvious. And I have 100% given people a 0 when I see the same format and I see words that I recognize that you might not have ever used a day in your life, that I'm like, we did not go over this. It's not in any of my PowerPoints. It is not in any of my lectures. The best way that I tell my students to utilize ChatGPT is, if you're using AI to help answer a question, read that answer, understand what it is you are trying to explain, and then rewrite it in your own words. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean it's right. So use it at your own risk, or find the answer, be like, oh, that's a good point, and then research that yourself and say, oh yeah, ChatGPT was right. Or most of the time, actually, it's ChatGPT was somewhat right, but they didn't elaborate on this topic that's really important as part of this answer. I have failed many assignments that have used AI. I will do it again. Oh, homework 1 will utilize ChatGPT. Okay, so because this course is so short, and because I'm opening all modules at once and you'll have plenty of time to access any of it, I can't accept late work in this course. And I say that with the obvious statement of, if there are extenuating circumstances and you reach out to me before that due date and you say, oh my gosh, this is due then, and I see that, I'm working really hard to catch up, but I just don't think I'll be able to get this done in time. Can I have an extension for next week when this assignment is due? We can figure something out. I'm happy to work around that. But if I get that email at 11:59 on a Tuesday night that is, hey, I didn't realize it would take me this long, it's really hard to empathize with those scenarios, because you have had plenty of time, and I have warned you that time management is an important component of this class. I will not extend your deadlines if I see that email coming in at 11:30 at night on Tuesday when I'm passed out, and you're like, oh no, I couldn't submit this, or this file wasn't working, or X, Y, and Z. And I have made the assignments a lot more accessible this term, which we'll talk about. So please just be very wary. I won't accept late work. This is by far, I get a lot of students who get really frustrated by this, but the students who are getting frustrated by this are the students who wait until the last minute to even start the assignment. And so I can't work around that. I can work with you if you know a week out that, hey, I am really trying to work through this stuff, but I just don't know that I'll finish in a week with my vacation coming up, or, a family member is coming to town, it's summer, or I'm working my summer job this whole week. That I can work with, but I will not work with you if you're sending me emails at 11:30 at night. So please work through the modules in a timely manner. And here's the thing too, if you realize right away that you're struggling with time management, reach out to me, and let's chat about that. I understand that time management is a new concept for a lot of you, and it's a new skill that you are building. And I'm not here to say, oh, well, you can't manage your time. Well, fuck off. I don't want to be that person. I definitely want to help you manage your time. So if you're struggling initially, let's figure out a system together. I'm happy to work through that with you. I'm not here to leave you out to dry, but if you're consistently turning in material 11:30 at night on Tuesdays, there's very little I can do in that scenario. I don't think this will be that big of an issue for this class, because I have turned all of the assignments into quizzes, most of the assignments into quizzes. But there are some that you will have to submit as a document or a PDF or a PowerPoint. Don't email them to me. Please, for the love of all that is holy, please do not email me your assignments. I will lose them. They get buried. And I know I said that I'm not going to get that many emails this summer. I'm still going to get emails. And the worst part is, as I'm grading, I'll go through and I'll see that you haven't submitted anything, and I give you an automatic 0 without even thinking, oh, it's because they emailed me. I just don't have that mental capacity. So do not email me your assignments, for the love of God. Also, please don't send me a Google link. This happens every term. And I think there's only 16 of you taking this class, so I don't think it'll be a problem here. But last term, when I had 125 students, I got students that emailed me Google links, and they're like, you have access. I gave you access. It never happens like that. I still have to request access every time. Um, and I won't do it. I'm over it. I'm not going to do it anymore. So please don't send me a Google link. Okay? Send me a PDF or submit the PDF, submit everything to Canvas. This is also super important, accessibility wise, because if there's an issue later on down the line and you say, hey, you never graded this assignment, um, I might not be able to access it on my email, or my email will have gotten rid of it weeks and weeks ago. But if it's on Canvas, that's never a problem. Again, I don't think this will be a huge issue because I've turned everything into quizzes, but just don't email me stuff unless it's a question. Don't email me attachments, I guess, unless I specifically tell you that that is okay. Okay. And communicate with me, you guys. Communication is key here. If you are struggling, email me. If you have a question, email me. If you're not sure about some of the accessibility resources the school offers, especially in the summertime, email me. I will look into it. I'm happy to. Here's my email for your happiness and pleasure. I never hate, I never roll my eyes when I get an email. That never has happened a single day in my life, from any student. I love getting emails from you guys. I love answering clarifying questions, because also if you have a question about an assignment, I guarantee you I have other students that have questions. Or if there is a problem with a link in one of my assignments and you're like, oh, she probably knows about it, I probably don't, I probably have no idea. So shoot me an email. I am happy to respond. Again, it might take longer than I would prefer over the summer, but please, please, please email me. Again, I don't think this will be a problem, but if you submit your labs, please do not submit them like this. I cannot read that. This is lovely. This is legible. This is delightful. I can read this. But always go back and check to make sure that every question is answered. Make sure the pages are legible. Again, I don't think that'll be a problem in this lab. And make sure you've turned in the correct lab. Again, that shouldn't be a problem because all of the assignments, except like 2 or 3, are quizzes. But this happens every term where somebody submits an assignment that is not the correct assignment. And that is a super big problem because I have to give you a 0, even though you might have done the work. And I won't take late work. So always just double check if you submit a file. I guess there are some quizzes where you have to submit a file, in like it's embedded in the quiz. Most of them are pictures. So I have 2 homework assignments where you'll have to submit images of stuff. Just make sure you've submitted the correct image. And I also welcome constructive criticism. Like I said, I revamped this entire course. I have turned assignments into quizzes for simplicity. So I used to have students upload, they'd have to download a Word doc, fill it out, and then re-upload it. And that was a pain for me. That was a pain for them. And so I just spent the last 5 days of my life turning all of these assignments into quizzes. I'm also going to open all those modules at the same time. Again, this is the first time I've done this. And I would love to say that this is going to be the best system, but I can also imagine that if everything's open, you get overwhelmed, or it's hard to keep track of what's due. So let me know what's working and what's not working. I'm happy to, I mean, some of that I might be able to change for you guys, but it will be really good information for me to have for future classes. So let me know as we go. I will not be offended by your opinions. I got so many opinions last term, some of which I had power over and was like, actually, yeah, that's a really good point. Like your peer who suggested that I open everything all at once. I was like, that's a great idea. I love that idea. But I've also gotten opinions that I'm like, that's one of the opinions was, I don't like that you don't accept late work. I'm like, well, you got all this time to do it. I'm sorry, I'm not going to change that. You're welcome to tell me that. That is probably never going to change though. But you are the paying customers. I'm here to help you learn. And I want to help. Let's go on a magical Canvas tour. Woo! Ooh, I got 2 text messages. I'll look at those later. Okay. Boop. So here's our Canvas page. I guess it's going to look like this. Oh, should I do it as a student? Probably. Oh, no, I shouldn't because modules won't be here. This is what you will see. This is the front page. Welcome to Geology 100. Here are the dates we'll be doing this. My name. Here's my email. You can click on that and email me right away. Copy and paste that shit. No Zoom office hours. I will set up a Zoom ID and a password for you, though, so you can sign right in as soon as we set up an appointment. Here's the syllabus to download. But I have basically copied and pasted the entire syllabus down on this front page. This is where this presentation and this video are going to go. And then I'm going to link the tips and tricks to time management video here too. So here's everything that you will need. This is the module overview. So these are just the descriptions of the modules, and then these are the times that you will need Google Earth Pro and Washington Geology Portal. I don't actually know if I use Washington Geology Portal. I can get rid of that. Knowledge outcomes. Here's all my expectations. Student responsibilities, communicate with me, our grading policy, grading rubric. I mean, scroll down. Here are the due dates, but again, those should pop up. So those should pop up here under your to-do, right? So you have this to-do list. As soon as I set those due dates, they're going to pop up immediately here for you to get done. So you'll know exactly what to work on. But those due dates are also listed here. Don't cheat. Here's some resources. They should be pretty similar to a regular school year, but there have been some things that changed, like the tutoring center, etc. But let me know if you have any questions. Okay, let me go to the modules real quick. So I have to leave student view. Modules. So for each module, except for the welcome module, this is where this is all going to go. It actually just takes you straight to the homepage. Oopsies, I guess it doesn't. Well, last time it did. I think I'll just link it to the homepage. Each module, you're going to have a quiz. Those quiz points change from module to module. You're going to have one homework assignment for each module, and you're going to have one lab for each module. This home page here gives you a description of that module, what the reading is going to be. I'm going to link the PowerPoints for each module here and the lectures. And then down here, you'll have the deliverables, essentially what I expect, your quizzes, your homeworks, and your labs, but those will also be, as you go through, you'll have the syllabus quiz. The first module is just understanding the syllabus. I mostly just want to make sure you have read the syllabus and you understand the major components of the syllabus. Your homework is ChatGPT, and this is a quiz. So I write it as a quiz, and you can leave these quizzes whenever you want and come back to them before the due date to continue them. If you do that, the most important thing to note is you should be able to save your quiz. There will be a button at the very bottom where you can save, or I guess it might just automatically save. So if you don't have a save button, I don't remember if it does or not, at least go to the very bottom and say, oh, wow, is it 5:30 already? Geez, I didn't realize it was that late. And make sure that it says quiz saved at 5:37 p.m. before you leave this page, because there have been situations in which students have left a quiz and all of their information goes. So if this is happening to you regularly, reach out to me, because everything that I have is a quiz. I thought it would be more accessible. I don't honestly know. So keep that in mind. These little rocket ships mean that they're a quiz. So your first lab is also a quiz. Throughout some of these too, I understand that you might not be able to read some of the images. I have uploaded PDFs as we go. I'm really excited about these being quizzes, so let me know how that goes for you. But that's the overall general thing, is each module has a quiz. The quizzes are timed. I think you have an hour for each quiz. The homeworks and the labs are not timed. You can come and go as you please until the due date. You have 8, and then you have your one discussion board, which is disaster sphere. The instructions are all here. I hope this is kind of fun. It was fun for my last people. You'll have a presentation and a video on instructions for this too. So that's basically the overarching rundown of this class. I hope it'll be really, really fun and really interesting. It's been very successful in the past, and I have whittled it down as best I can based on student feedback, and also just based on the fact that this is, what, 7 weeks, 8 weeks instead of 11. And yes, that does mean that you'll have more material to get through in a shorter amount of time, but I whittled it even more maybe than I should have. But I know that this isn't the only thing that is running your summer life. So I think that's it. Watch the next video for module 1, which will be geography. And I would do the modules in order. Absolutely. I think I built it so they sort of feed off each other. Um, and I did that on purpose. So I would do them in order, and I'll put that in an announcement so you see that right away. Even though they're all open, you're welcome to do as many of them as you would like. Do you want to come say hi again? Okay. And otherwise, have fun. Please email me with any questions or concerns. I'm happy to answer. I'm really excited for this class. All right. Oh, wait, Henry wants to say bye. Say goodbye. Yeah, she says goodbye. I'll see you later.